As we've been reporting, Elon Musk, as you know, struck a deal with Twitter to purchase a social media platform. Musk has said that he believes Twitter isn't living up to its potential as a platform for free speech, and he believes that that is of utmost importance. Leaving a lot of questions now as to how the app could change. Will it change? Joining me now live to talk more about that is the Director of International Media Law and Policy Studies at Indiana University with his opinion, Anthony Fargo. Good morning to you. Good to have you with us today.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. I mean, we're going to speculate here. Sometimes it's fun just to kind of talk about it and to think about what might happen. But Musk has said that he wants to open Twitter up as more of a free speech zone. And a lot of people have an opinion about that. I'm wondering yours. And do you think there's more than one way to define what free speech is?
Well, yes, there is. And a lot of people, I think, define free speech as that means that I get to say whatever I want to, whenever I want to. And that's never really been the reality of free speech in the United States or anywhere else in the world. So I'm not exactly sure what his definition of free speech is. If he's basically suggesting that he's going to open Twitter back up to people who have been deplatformed in the past or for things that they have posted, I'm not sure that necessarily makes Twitter any better. And I don't know how attractive that will be to advertisers and to users of Twitter.
It makes me interested in that. Like, just for one, I'm going to take the Babylon Bee for one, because that is a satirical Twitter page that got deplatformed and just taken off Twitter. It's still not on Twitter. So someone making fun of things, and you think that, how do you think that would be a problem if those things were allowed to come back on? Or do you think it's fair that, for example, was taken off Twitter?
Well, I think largely what we have to remember is that Twitter, is a private media company, so they've always had the right to decide what they will and will not allow to appear on their platform. The same way that a newspaper or a TV station, for that matter, decides what it will or will not publish. So I don't necessarily have an opinion one way or the other on Babylon Bee or some other sites, but I do think that what Twitter has tried to do is, with the imperfect moderation system that it has, is try to basically keep certain types of content that many people would find offensive off the site. We may not always agree with those decisions, certainly, but that has largely, of course, been up to Twitter, pretty much.
Yeah, a problem online, too, is obviously we hear a lot about the spread of misinformation. Do you think that the purchase here will mean it gets better or worse in fighting misinformation online?
Well, again, depending on how Mr. Musk is defining, free speech, if he's basically saying we're not going to block people anymore, we're not going to deplatform people, we're not going to block their comments, then yes, there's probably going to be a greater flood of misinformation, which is already a problem. Moderation can only get you so far a lot of times in catching all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I don't know how if it'll get a lot worse, but I think it's potentially a problem that we will see more of that.
I only have a few seconds, and I know another question is, Jeff Bezos. I mean, he bought the Washington Post, and do you see some difference here? I mean, obviously, Twitter is something that it's people can talk with people around the world in seconds. So, but people are saying, well, gosh, this isn't new. There are billionaires and millionaires who own Google and own Washington Post.
Sure. Well, I think the difference is Jeff Bezos, to his credit, I think, was smart enough to know that he didn't know anything about journalism. So, by most accounts, he has largely kept his hands off of the editorial product at the Washington Post. To the extent that he's had any influence on it, has been to pump more money into the news gathering activities there. I think that's a little bit different than Elon Musk, who is largely known for sending things into space or electric cars, deciding that he wants to be a media mogul. It's a little outside of his normal territory. He does know apparently a lot about business, and
Yeah.
maybe he can serve the business aspect.
So I'm so sorry, Anthony. I'm getting the wrap because we have commercials to hit and that thing. I apologize for interrupting, but when my producer says go, I got to listen. Anthony Fargo, I appreciate it. Good to hear from you this morning and your opinion.